Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you another video. Alright, so I'm out here doing my walk. I made a therapy session on the way here. I ain't listened to it yet, but I think I stumbled over my words and made so many pauses, and it just wasn't great content. It really wasn't. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna upload it at all, but I walked all the way down to the CVS and did not find the soap I was looking for. They didn't have it. So since you probably ain't gonna watch that video if I don't upload it, I came in there telling y'all that I was gonna go in there looking for Neutrogena soap, since it costs so much to have it delivered to my house. It costs more to ship it in Amazon than it actually costs to buy the soap itself. So I'm like, man, it's one more reason why I'm out here trying to recondition my mind to walk around and be outside and get back to money making and learn all this stuff, because at the end of the day, I'm sick of that type of crap, man. Having people deliver stuff to your house. I've had very good fortune with people delivering groceries to my house, man. I'm not gonna sit up here and bash them for that. They do a great job, but every once in a while you get a rotten apple, a rotten banana, somebody forget to put something in the bag, or it's stuff like that. It's like, yo, man, I want to pick my own fruit again. I want to get back out here and do my own thing, regardless of what I'm waiting on, what it ain't. You know, none of that stuff really is important to me right now. My friend was telling me, like, I was talking to B just now, she was a little concerned about the fact that I hadn't heard back from the guy who was giving me the listings on the apartments, and you know, the low income apartments. But my thing is, those apartments, honestly, they're not really probably attached to a company that's reputable to begin with, because this seemed like the same type of dudes that are spamming the hell out of me. He's just one more of those spam accounts, to be honest. So I am not expecting anything out of that. But I do know that I would qualify for the listings that he said he had. So if they exist, they there. So you got it, brother. And that's really how that goes. Honestly, that's really how that goes. You know, for me, it's like, all right, if that's not a reputable company, then they're probably not gonna have anything for me that God wants me to have. So I just gotta keep it pushing and wait for what it is he wants to do. And that's all that really matters, what he wants to do. Because what I want to do is a bunch of stuff, including saving myself from this process. But it ain't gonna help me be a better person. It's gonna keep me in the house, keep me conditioned for the same garbage, keep me in the same cycle that I'm desperate to break, where I go in the house and stay there for a year, 2 years. Years, quality years of my life. My 22nd year, I spent the whole year in the house. 22, didn't leave the house, but to go out with my buddies on a Friday or something like that. Other than that, isolated. And so it's like, man, I'm tired of that. I'm out here for nothing. I don't even care no more. I just want to walk around and live my life. What's the worst thing that happens? What's the worst thing that can happen? Honestly, is a lot, but the way I see it is, the way I've been living, I have to do something different, man. I got to do something different. And since I got good energy in my heart, it ain't like I'm out here looking to hurt nobody or take nothing from nobody or influence people in a negative direction. I'm not a moron as it pertains to street energy, as it pertains to knowing my surroundings and all of that. I'm not a street dude, but I'm not someone who's not from out here as well. So it's just time to let whatever the heck is going to happen, and put forth the effort necessary to see it, so that I'm having a better life going forward. I can't really worry about my age. You know, at 38, you sit up here like, man, you got to start over. But when you really think about it, it's like, oh, it's either you start over, or you waste the rest of your life not trying to start over. You know, it's either you start over, or you waste the rest of your life dreading your life. Yeah, no. So for me, it's like I'll take my chances with the start over. I'll take my chances with getting it started the way I have to. Because at the end of the day, if I don't, then I'm probably not going to be able to be happy about what I see anyway. So that's how I'm looking at starting over at this point. I start over for what? Because I have to. It ain't hard. And not only that, because I'm able to. I'm able to. You know, when you consider people trying their very best, some of them can't do it, some of them ain't wired to do it or whatever. If I'm blessed enough to be able to rewire myself even though I'm ill, shit, I can do anything. Ain't a whole lot I can't do. And the sad thing about it is, I've known that for a long time. It's just about the things that I chose to not break away from, the things I didn't allow myself to let happen because of my own way of looking at myself and others, and the circumstances that could come about if I tried too hard, or if things didn't pan out for my effort. Bunch of garbage, man. It ain't served me now. At 38 years, I don't have nothing to show for that energy. So it's like, let me try something else. Maybe walking down the street once a day at 1 o'clock could give me an entirely different result than what the hell I've been doing. Because what I've been doing ain't working. So that's just what I'm saying, man. And then it speaks to work ethic. It just speaks to work ethic, you know. And knowing that my conditioning of the mind growing up didn't have me working hard like I should have. You know what I mean? I wasn't. My mom allowed me to kind of, you know, cater to my own head, which was something we talked a little bit about, but it is what it is. You know, I want to acknowledge the comment that was on my video. They were saying that they think my mom had mental illness. She did. She did. It was something. It wasn't nothing that was as severe as mine, and I don't think it was something that was necessarily hereditary. I just believe that she had went through some traumatic experiences, and they did what they did to her mind, and she had to overcome those dark times. And in doing so, there were some episodes. I told you guys about the time when she acted like she was dead. There was a situation where she was just kind of had enough. And one night we were just sitting up in bed, and I guess I was getting on her nerves. I was being ornery, pulling out bad energy. I was only about 8 or something, but I wasn't doing nothing good. Getting on her nerves, and she had had enough, and I was fed up, and we were just going back and forth, screaming at each other, and all of a sudden she just conked out. Like she just passed out. She fainted, like literally fainted. And for me, at that age, I already had anxieties about her dying. That was my biggest fear. I had already been going through anxiety around that time, or about to. Heck, I think that actually was the triggering for the anxiety attacks, now I look back on it. But honestly, I think that's what it really came down to. The mental illness that she had was something I didn't identify as mental illness because of the fact that we just didn't look at it that way. You know, we were, in my mind, when she was acting like that, I was like, it was two things that went through my head. When she woke up, initially it was just shock and fear and all that, you know, as a mom, you think something's wrong. So it's like, you know, really no. But at the same time, it's like you got two thoughts. One of them, something happened. Something happened to her. Hope nobody didn't do nothing to my mom. She ain't gonna tell me because she ain't gonna scare me, but something happened. Or my mom tripped out on some type of drug. That's where my head went. Tripped out. She decided to pop something that day, or somebody slipped something to her, or something like that. I really thought that. But the reality was, I just think that her explanation of what it was probably was exactly what it was now that I've gotten to 38 years of age. She had just had enough, man. It was a lot of pressure on her, she said, during that time. Things we were barely getting by. And she just had enough. She just wanted to quit on everything for just a moment. She just wanted to shut down. And that to me spoke to some type of mental something. Something was awry there. That whatever your temperament would be would make it so that you would faint in front of your child. You know, so just to speak to that person's comment on my mom, I agree. I think she was ill, man. I really do. And it really come down to it. The lady was ill. Love her to death, though. But I don't think her illness was something that she couldn't manage in any way. She was a fully working person. She was very social. If anything, it wasn't chemical or nothing like it. It was just a reaction to some very, very, very traumatic experiences that she expressed to me a lot of the time. We talked a lot about her circumstances because she wanted me to talk about mine, you know, so that was kind of how that went. But I'll tell you the truth, man. I think I needed to see the comment because I didn't really correlate my mother's mental illness with something that would affect me if she did indeed have some type of mental illness, because it's just me speculating, of course. But at the end of the day, I think what I deal with is a combination of both. We talking about trauma and probably like chemical stuff. Both. And so for me, it's like, for those who are wondering why I'm not doing certain things or why I do put so much of precedence on my own mental health as it pertains to how I'm willing to cope with me and how far I'm willing to go as it pertains to thinking about what it is that I'm thinking about, rather than just doing things that are simple and for everybody or whatever to do. The answer to that for me, honestly, is my head has been in control of things since as long as I've been conscious. That's what it really comes down to. The head's been kind of moving in a way that protects itself, and my personality's kind of been dragging along. That's the reality. Not to say that I got multiple personalities, because it's only one person. But I tell you, sometimes when you combine, and I say this because I know my families, the mental illness that may be coming from my dad's side and the super genius that comes from my mom's dad's side, when you have both of those things come together, you probably get something like this. It's probably what it is, man. Not to say that I'm all that smart, because you're not going to see anything in transcripts that tell you I'm intelligent. If you look at my schoolwork, you're going to see I was a moron. In fact, you're going to think I was one of the worst students in the school. But that was by design, as I've told you guys a lot of times, because I wasn't going to put in the effort, and I basically boycotted school at 1 year old when they told me I couldn't move on into the math group that I was supposed to be in for my intellect. Instead, made me do the first grade math book again after doing it twice already. So I was like, man, forget school. I had already done it in kindergarten. I had already done it with my mom before I got to kindergarten. Then they wanted me to do it again in first grade. They skipped me to it second grade math book in first grade. Then wanted me to go back to the first grade math book in second grade. I was like, I'm not dealing with y'all. I'm not dealing with none of y'all. That's exactly how that went for me. So I gave up on school then. Pretty much. I was in, but I wasn't really there to do nothing other than sleep during math and talk to my friends until my body got to a point where I wasn't happy with it. Playing video games, getting big, getting those man tits and all that stuff. And it put me in a position to where I just said, you know what? I'm gonna stop going to school even for my friends now. I don't even want to go there for them. I don't want to be there at all. I just want to stay home, record music videos, watch Spice. If anybody knows what Spice is, don't ask. But you couldn't see nothing anyway because the channel didn't exactly come through. Here's a confession I can give you guys. And I know my mom knows this. I think I confessed to her before she passed that I did this. But I really did run the bill up on Spice and told her that I didn't. That was bad energy. I probably paid for it too. I was like 11. When you first get started as a male, I had never seen nothing like that. No type of adult stuff, nothing. But when I found Channel 99 and I could barely see the blurriness in there, it was like, all right, that was the introduction to manhood for me. Let me see more. And then it was literally started the process as accident. I accidentally pressed record, buy, and then was able to see a movie. And then it was like, all right, I got to keep seeing movies. You know how that goes. When you go down that rabbit hole as a young child, which is why we talk about not letting kids go down that rabbit hole, you don't know why you shouldn't. All you know is what you feel, and you're going to go with that. And it's going to get out of hand. And so that's what it was. I ended up getting, I ain't going to say addicted, but I ended up finding myself buying that stuff. You know, like literally buying it with her money because it would just be credited to the bill. And then at the end of the year, she got the bill and it was all kinds of money. I don't even know how far I ran it up, but all kinds of money. She was adamant that she didn't pay for it. I didn't buy it. I was adamant I didn't buy it and they refunded it. They refunded it. She never had to pay for none of that. She was adamant that she didn't do it. I didn't lie. I was an honest kid except for something like that. It was ridiculous how much the devil had a hold on me in regards to how selfish I was in that situation as a child. I really was selfish. And so I just want to confess, people, like, just because I be having all these conversations about God don't mean I've always done things the right way. I trespassed against my own mom just so I could see some stuff that I had no business seeing. And, you know, I think I did confess that to her at the end, though. I think I did. I probably told her I did that. But it's like, it's one of those situations where it's like, I think she came back and told me she knew I did it too. Like, of course you did. You know, that's that kind of thing. You got a little boy in the house, he gonna do something like that. You definitely ain't gonna pay for it. And as long as he lying, it's true. So that's how that go. But I tell you the truth, man, I just look at my mom and I appreciate that she was custom the way that she was, you know, she was built the way that she was built so that I could have a peaceful childhood. Because the way I was wired, there was no way I was gonna have a peaceful childhood. The way I was wired, I was always gonna get in the way. I was gonna always get in the way of my own self, every time. And so now that I've gotten older, I know how to control at least the understanding that the conditioning is no good for me to keep doing stuff like that. Now it's like, all right, let's try something else. Let's try another thing. You know, what else works for me? I'll tell you, what does work for me is talking like this, talking to you guys about what I'm talking about here, getting these things out of my system, being transparent as I can, and just overall being happy with life as it changes for the better, hopefully. But I don't even know where it's headed, to be honest with you. Obviously things don't look great, but at the same time, with what I'm building, it's like there are possibilities that can happen from what it is that I'm doing that can make life so much better. And so I just got to keep doing what I'm doing, even though things get worse. It makes for good content, and that's the point. That's really what it comes down to. The worse my life get, the more lessons I can pass to you guys about how I'm living and how things have gone for me and what I expect and what I don't. It just gets to a point where you know for a fact the Lord got your back. You don't even have to worry about certain things people worry about. And you have to find yourself in positions where you're upset about things. For what? Why would you be upset when you know the Lord is in control of every single thing there is? That's what it really comes down to. I think that's one of the reasons why I just kind of let things brush off my shoulders these days when it comes to what my situation is. Because you just know He got your back no matter what. And you go out on that limb, like I said earlier, you just find yourself realizing that faith is probably more real than the problem is. It's got more power than the problem it has. It has solutions that the problem needs, all of that. That's what I've come to understand. And it didn't take no preacher, nobody else to tell me that. It took me going through some hard times and having nothing else but God to turn to, and then say, you know what, I don't know what else I'm going to do. I don't know what else I'm going to do, and because I don't know what else I'm going to do, I'm going to turn to you and try to figure it out that way. And sure enough, He helped me pay for trespassing against Mom and all these things by having me bump my head 1,000,000 times. And that's the thing that kind of turns people away from God. It's like He's not going to sit there, bless you, bless you, bless you, and then let you get away with stuff that you should not have done. What He's going to likely do is bless you, bless you, bless you, and then proceed to give you what it is you deserve for the wrongdoings that you did. That's what I've come to understand. There's going to be a balance there. You're going to be getting those blessings, but you're also going to be having them hard days. You're going to be like, what the heck, man? And this is going to be because it's time for you to pay the toll, as we've talked about before. So I'm pretty sure that particular sin that I confessed to you guys was not too far away from some of the things that I've gone through that were just so completely and utterly unnecessary. But I tell you this though, God, the God I serve, He really doesn't work that way as it pertains to punishing people and leaving them down there to just suffer. That's the enemy's way of doing things. That's not really God's way of doing things. He's going to pick you back up, dust you off, tell you why you shouldn't have did what you did, and proceed to get you on your way. Then you're going to see some more blessings that come from being obedient from that. You know what I mean? And when you bump your head, depending on how He's feeling in that relationship, will determine how bad He makes you pay for the next thing you do wrong after all of that. And I'm speaking from experience on that one for sure. But, you know, this is the furthest I've ever walked. Furthest I've ever walked from my crib, and honestly I just feel good to do so. You know, my legs are just carrying me forward right now. All these damn squats, I could probably walk to Hollywood the way I'm feeling right now, but it just is what it is. You get to a point where you just understand that the Holy Spirit is with you, and if you believe in that sort of thing, then you know that you really don't have nothing to worry about. You can get all caught up in what everybody's talking about in regards to different things, but doubt really only serves a purpose to make you make mistakes. You know, anxiety only serves a purpose to make you stagnant, make you feel like you can't live in your own skin comfortably despite the world not actually having any influence over that most of the time. And so perception has influence over that. And so if you're wired like that, like I am, and it seems to take precedent over your actions like it does mine, then you understand what it is that I think works for me. So that's what I give to you, man. And it's sad because there are a lot of people who are not raised with relationships with God or raised with any positive energy pointed at no religion or anything. So, you know, they don't have this kind of thing to try to psych their way through it. You know, they can't psych their way. They can't convince themselves that there's any other reason to try to keep it together, I guess you could say. I feel for them because I do have that relationship. My mom gave me that. My father also. And there's nothing better than having that relationship with God, in my opinion. So that's what I'm here to say, man. I'm here to say that. Probably like 12, 13 blocks away from the house. Ain't gonna be nothing to walk back and do the same thing I've been doing, man. But as I was saying in the other video that I made a lot of upload, this isn't the most spiritual day for me. It ain't. Not like it's been these last couple of days. I feel a bit more normal as it pertains to my energy. I think I'm getting stronger in what it is that I'm feeling. That's why it doesn't require as much comfort to get through the day, despite the circumstances being as bad as it seems. It's just one of those things where it's like you got to keep God close. But the anxiety that was making me just need to be so spiritual, I guess it's not coming in that way today. But I appreciate that the comfort was there when I absolutely needed it, and when He wants me to speak that way, I'm more than happy to do it. And I think it's a good cue for me to turn around because that dude ain't gonna be able to see me around that corner and he's about to back up a big truck. That's what it is. So that's a turnaround point for me. But yeah, you guys, I'm just happy to be outside in a space where I want to be outside for the first time in many years. with the exception, of course, of the last couple of days. But like, I want to be out here. I legitimately want to be fresh air filled in my lungs, and it just makes for a better me all the way around, as everybody's been suggesting for so many years, as I've done this for so many years. So yeah, man, I want everybody to have a fantastic day. I want everybody to understand that there's nothing that I got going on in my life that would make it so that I should feel like I got to give up, or I got to sit down, or that I got to feel some kind of way about my situation that ain't of God. There's nothing like that going on right now. Reality would tell me that I should be hectic and frantic and what am I gonna do? Let me call everybody. And I'm telling you, God gave me that apartment in a way that was a miracle. So the only energy I'm gonna trust right now is the same energy that led me to that place. Y'all gotta remember this one nugget about this situation. He woke me up at 6 in the morning that day and told me to check my email in an era where I never checked my emails. That's the nugget that I want people to understand about the reality of how I got this apartment. I would not have checked my email. I would not. Because I never did. It was one of them situations where that thing was sitting dormant. I don't even think I knew my password. That kind of thing. But he was like, check your email. And I said, why not? I mean, today's gonna be the day I'm homeless. That was it. I had the storage place all picked out. And I was gonna live in my car, have my boy T allow me to shower at his house. And that was how I was gonna do it until the checks came in well enough fashion for me to get an apartment, which I didn't think would be too long, but I'm telling y'all, that's exactly how it went. And the Lord told me, just check your email. I checked my email, and Babcock and Associates, the company that owns this building, had sent me that email telling me that they had gotten the apartment for me, that the person that they had getting it backed out last minute, and they were ready to move someone in immediately. And I told them that I needed to move in immediately, and the rest is history. So when people are wondering why isn't he moving, it's because it's the very voice that's telling me to chill that gave me this place in the first place. I kid you not. And he had already proven himself 17 times before that. So it was like, now when you get this age, you're like, man, what am I really afraid of? If not for the chemical imbalance in my head. What am I really afraid of? So that's what it really comes down to. I'm not. It just gets to a point where the anxiety does what it does, and then you need to apply what you need to apply. And now that I understand that formula, it's like, man, I'm outside. That's exactly how that goes. And I'm not mad that this didn't come sooner. I'm not sitting up here saying, God, why didn't you have me come to this conclusion beforehand? God, why didn't you have me see it this way beforehand? I did see that. That's the sad thing about it. There was many angles that I saw of this path. And at the end of the day, do you know what I came to terms with? That it didn't feel right yet. I was still in that space where coddling my mind meant more important to me than anything else. I was still in that space where I felt like God didn't really know what I needed. You know, not as it pertains to me being able to survive this situation with Moaz. You know, I gotta wait here. He told me to sit here. He ain't gonna tell me anything else. I wasn't trying to listen to nothing else. I'm gonna sit here. And it's like, but Brandon, I want you to go outside at some point. But nah, I'm gonna sit here, make my content, get married to my timing, you know, being able to get up 3 in the morning, do what I want to do, get up 4 and after, go to sleep at 4 in the afternoon, whatever I want to do. And it just came to a point where the Lord was like, all right, I'm tired of this. And that point was now. I'm tired of you doing this. I appreciate that you want to be obedient to me, but at some point this has to end, and that time is now. And so that's what I got from the situation. That's why I'm not really worried about the timing of it all, because honestly, I was organic in how I felt about it. I wasn't ready before now. I'm ready now. See? That's exactly how that works. And so I just roll with the punches. If the Lord would have said, move now, if I would have been obedient enough in my mindset, I would have moved now. It's like I tell you guys to do so. You don't hesitate when he tells you to move, because that's exactly the timing you want to be on. That's what I would have did if I was in my right space. And I think because I stepped away from him, I probably missed it. That's what I think happened. If y'all really want to know what happened there, in my opinion, I think the time while I was stepping away doing things I had no business doing, getting farther away from God, it was probably the time he was probably asking me, hey, yo, B, it's time to move. Hey, yo, B, it's time to get something done. Hey, yo, B, you should call somebody else. I wasn't listening to him because I was too busy doing stupid stuff that didn't serve me at all. So I probably missed the calling. And then as a result, he had to try to get me out of there a different way since I missed the bus. That's what I actually think happened there. I legitimately think that happened. And we got to understand that whether you agree with what I'm saying in regards to that or not, I think it's possible that something like that could be the case. You will be distracted. This ain't even got nothing to do with faith. If you're looking at the wrong thing, you're obviously going to be distracted. You know, if you're aiming at the wrong thing, you're not going to hit your target. So it's like, at some point in time, you just got to look at it from that perspective. If I move off of faith and I step away from faith, then of course I'm not going to be able to make the right moves. You know, that's just how that works. And I want to reiterate something I said yesterday. Not everybody's supposed to move off of faith. Not everybody's supposed to do that. And that's what I want everybody to understand. It's not responsible for me to tell you, if you don't feel inside of you that you're supposed to be moving off of faith, or if you don't have that relationship telling you to move randomly or whatever, don't do that. Don't do that. It's the God's honest truth, man. Not everything is made for everybody. This is the way the Lord wants me to move. This ain't probably the way you're supposed to be doing, listening to a voice in your head tell you to go this way. Go, no. Get a relationship with God and let him communicate with you the way he wants to communicate with you. He ain't gonna communicate the same way with everybody. It ain't meant for you to do what I'm doing. You know, that kind of thing. So it's like, I don't know if I've done a good enough job of telling people that, but I'm doing it now. If you're supposed to move off faith, you will know that. If you're supposed to move off logic and numbers, he's gonna tell you that too. What I eat don't make you poop. I tell you that the truth. So that's what I want to tell everybody, because I'm not to be followed in that regard, because some of the stuff I'm doing just ain't gonna work. I mean, it didn't work for me, so it shouldn't work for you. You gotta pay your bills, you know. And most importantly, you gotta understand what it is that kept me in there, in my mind. It wasn't nothing logical. It wasn't nothing I agree with. No. The only thing that I would have ever advised somebody like me to do is work more, buy more shares. That's all I would have ever told myself if I was somebody else. And so, don't get it twisted. That's what I would tell anybody that's trying to build something that has something to do with money. You're not going to build that if you're losing money. So, the logic wasn't lost upon me. The temperament to follow the right path eluded me. The temperament and the strength to take on the pressures that came with doing things correctly, I was not ready for in that regard. And that's something I can tell y'all, because I'm not ashamed of that. It just is what it is. Immaturity, mental illness, just lacking in character, all of those different things can be true. And that's what we work on as we do. So that's what I want to say as well. I'm not the person that's going to tell you I live in the most mature way. You can clearly see I'm not the most mature person that's 38 years of age. But I can speak to being intent on gaining as much wisdom as I can and letting that build me up to the man I want to be. I can tell you that. I can tell you that I'm not afraid to not get there. I'm going to try to get there. And I'm not afraid to not. That's important. That's important, because a lot of times it'll keep us from starting a process. Being afraid to start. It'll keep you from the fruit that comes with doing it. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. Just staying away from certain things. Trying to keep my energy in a space, or my effort in a space where I do what I can for now, for a time. It's never that full-fledged, I'm going all in, let's see whatever happens with my effort. That's the person I want to be. That's the person I'm trying to become. It's like, look, we're going to walk until we can't walk no more. Why? Because there's been so many times where you didn't want to walk and you knew you should have. That kind of thing. Just give it what you should. Give it the effort that you're supposed to have to the circumstance. And as a result, even if you put in the effort that doesn't turn into nothing, that application of effort will become more real to you in regards to you being willing to put it in other areas. You know, you'll be willing to put it in the other areas of your life. And so that's what I'm speaking to. Is wanting to be somebody better at that. I'm gonna give my all to the circumstance, give my all to my next job, give my all to my next whatever it is. And as a result, let the chips fall where they may, knowing that the best possible outcome in regards to what comes at me is going to be from the effort that I put into it. You know, now, a lot of people have heard this all their lives. This ain't new to anybody, but at the same time, we could all use a reminder to put a little more effort in. We could all use a little reminder that the best comes from our best. So that's what I want to say. And look, I'm a prime example of something. Sometimes people who really struggle in their mind can seem very okay in some ways. They can speak to you like they're all right. They can make sense. They got wisdom in their heart, all of that. And only they will tell you what they're really dealing with. Especially if they're intelligent. They're intelligent people, charismatic people, talented people, people with good hearts even. Sometimes they struggle with things that are deeper than them, that are tougher than what they can handle internally. And maybe they were raised in a culture where they ain't able to tell you that at all. I wasn't, you know what I mean? Simply put, I wasn't. I was raised in a culture where I was definitely told to let it out. I took it seriously, and this is what this is. So I want to encourage everybody who can't let it out to know that you're going to see, if the Lord is willing, you're going to see the good things that come from being transparent. If you watch me long enough, I expect the Lord will allow me to see the fruit in such things, if it's within His will. But I think that's kind of the theme of this life of mine, it feels like. Like, show them me and show them a better you. That's how I feel about it. Like, show them me. You know, talk about me a lot, Brandon. That's what God's essentially saying. Talk about me a lot. Don't worry about who ain't gonna want to hear about me. Worry about me needing to talk to them and they not listening to me. That's what He's telling me. Or maybe you are. I don't want to disrespect nobody, but that's just in general what the thought was. And they're not listening to me. So, you know, it's like, all right, God, fine, I'll keep talking about you. But at the same time, I need them to also understand that a lot of people ain't going to believe in Him. Not because they don't have the ability to understand what I'm saying, but just because they're in a position to where they have more strong influences around them telling them otherwise. More voices telling them, nah, God ain't real. You got to keep pushing forward away from Him. Or people who would tell them, look at his results. If he believes in God, why ain't he doing better? You know, these type of things. But the answer to that is, it's the mindset. Look at what he's struggling with, and look at how he's surviving it. That's a more representation of what God actually is about. Not coming to save me necessarily from everything from a cloud, but making me okay with all the hell that comes with it. That's really what's difficult. Sometimes you ain't gonna get saved. Sometimes it ain't gonna be nothing good. Sometimes it's, you know, and that's where the God comes in to help change your mind, help change your thoughts, help change your perspective, help take away some of that agony you're in, so that whatever the heck is actually going on, you can deal with it. I think people think God tends to work the other way, like, oh, He's gonna come through, save us, and if He don't save us, He don't exist. No, fool. It's the strength that He gives you to get through those things that is a representation of His existence. So if He comes save me, heck, a demon can come save me, throw some money in my situation. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can come save me if they got some money. But who in this situation can make me feel better in that situation without actually fixing the situation? I know who. And so that's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't let the people around you tell you that God don't exist, make you think that they actually see everything they need to be looking at. They don't see it. There's a lot of things they just don't see. There's a lot of things I didn't see until I got close to God. And I see a little more, but not everything. At the end of the day, that's what I know. That's what I've come to learn in this life. You put forth effort in Him. You let Him know that you're interested in doing what He wants you to do. And you will see circumstances where He makes the circumstances better than necessarily what it looks like to you or on paper to everybody else, or however that goes. He's gonna make it better without actually needing to change anything. You know what I mean? You don't have to change, He just change you. Suddenly you just don't feel that way no more. Suddenly you just can't eat the same stuff no more. For example, I couldn't seem to control my diet, working out all these years, couldn't never see the fruit or whatever. You know what ended up happening? I just couldn't eat nothing no more. All the stuff that I love to eat that I was having trouble not eating started being rejected by my own body. All the stuff I had no business eating was rejected by my own body. All the stuff I said, Lord, just help me stop eating this stuff so I can get in shape. He made me allergic to all of it. I kid you not. So now it's like I have to eat well. Every workout is going to work out for me because I'm vegetarian by nature. I have to be. So it's like, these are the type of things that I've come to understand. It's like, you don't have to believe that he's going to come down from a cloud. You just have to believe he's going to make your head feel better about what you're going through. Then you start seeing what he's really about. Then you start seeing the miracle in and of itself. He don't have to change a dang thing about your situation. You are going to change within your situation. That's how that goes. And so that's what you're seeing in me. You see me walking out the house for the first time in 2 years like it ain't no problem. This is exactly what it is. He made me feel better about what I needed to do. He made me feel okay about a circumstance that should otherwise probably make me go crazy right now. Or more crazy. But that's the point, y'all. That's the point. Don't listen to the naysayers. They don't see all them angles. They don't know what he's about. They ain't been explaining the things that he's telling me right now in regards to that. They too need to hear this. This will make sense to the math that they are trying to put together. Stop waiting for him to prove himself in ways that are supernatural and watch how he changes people's minds around you. Especially if you put out the energy that would otherwise garner that type of response from the world. If I'm going around giving the finger to everybody, of course I ain't gonna see nothing good. But if I go around trying to put out the word of God in a positive light, or if I go out putting out the word of positivity or the word of protecting children or whatever's good, you know, then it's going to obviously reflect positively on myself. Then obviously I'm going to have an opportunity to feel a lot better about what it is I'm talking about. Just in general. Because I ain't put out the bad energy that would otherwise make me feel otherwise. So that's what I want to say to people. Put out the right energy if you can. Sometimes life will throw you some lemons. So you may not have the greatest energy. That's where you go to God for that. You go to God for that. You get it out. You get it out some positive way. You get it out in some way that doesn't hurt others or cause trauma to others or whatever you can do. But you indeed get it out. That's for certain. And so that's what I want to encourage everybody to do, man. Let it out. Don't let none of that pain stay in your heart. Don't let it fester into envy. And I'll tell you guys something that I don't know if too many people actually believe. I really don't know too much about envy as it pertains to feeling it. I think I may have been stricken with envy maybe once. And it was because I wanted somebody girl or some low frequency bull crap like that. Other than that, wanting what people have, that's not one of those traits that came naturally to me for some reason. It's because I was always trying to keep myself out of circumstances that were stressful. So it's like, I don't really care to have certain things, just keep me away from the stress. You know, that was my thing. You can keep all that, I just don't want, you know, get this girl in my life, she probably don't even look at me the right way. Now, you know, it was all kinds of stuff that had nothing to do with me welcoming good things into my life. So therefore it was never an envy, because I didn't think I deserved good things or however I perceived it. So it wasn't really much envy for me. But I think that's a very common trait. When people just want more for themselves, they're ambitious, naturally going after things, and you see people get it easier than you. They see people get it in it faster than you. You sit there for 20 years and then a new guy come in, he's 20 years younger than you, he gets the job in 5 minutes. Like stuff like that will just coerce you. And it's just hatred. And that hatred will manifest into other hatred. And you take that and then you go meet somebody who has that same energy and y'all come together, y'all hate together. And that's how all these evil cultures actually come about. It usually gets stemmed from something like that. Something like that. Envy births hatred every time. Jealousy births hatred every time. And it bothers me because I don't really feel envy, so I don't know how to fix it. I usually know how to have some nugget to tell you, yo, this is what you do to not want somebody else or something. But honestly, I don't have that trait. I honestly don't have it. And so that's what I want people to just kind of understand about me. I don't really speak too much to that. I really don't want what you have. I really don't, because I don't know what comes with it. I don't know if it's going to serve me the same way it serves you. I might get in that same car and get in a car accident. I might get that same girl and end up miserable for the rest of my life. She's supposed to be with you. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know what comes with what, so I'm not welcoming any specific thing. I just want gifts of a divine nature of God's choosing. That's it. And with that comes the understanding And he gonna bring me what's meant for me. I don't have to sit up here waiting for nobody else's anything. Anybody else's anything. Every good thing that ever came to me come from him. So why the hell do I want anything other than what he wants me to have? I mean, this is what it is. So that's how I live. I don't want people to think I think I'm better than anybody. It's just certain traits that he honestly ain't let me experience very much. The logic of what it is I feel just overrides certain things just inherently. But other things, not at all. And I gotta be honest about that. So I'm home. I think I got enough walking, man. Did not get my what you call it? The soak, but all in all, that walk was fantastic. I hope the therapy session ended up okay. The first one I don't think was very good at all. But I'm gonna probably listen to them. I'm gonna probably upload them anyway, both of them. I don't care. Be transparent. You guys know how I get down. But you know, at the end of the day, it's just very, very important that you guys know that your energy is something you can harness into positive ways, very positive ways. Whether you're going through certain things like I'm going through, or whether things have gotten better for you in a different way, just know that you can harness your energy in positive ways. And finally, the Lord reminded me something I've been wanting to say in one of these therapy sessions. He just came to me right now. I hope it don't go away. The hardest times in your life, and this is just another version of something I've already said, but you got to be worded this way. The hardest times in your life are actually the most rewarding times in your life. That's something I've been hearing in my head for a long time, for the last couple of days, rather. But the point of this is this: if the energy of hard times brings you closer to God, and if you truly believe God is the best thing for you, then those hard times are actually the most rewarding times in your life, because they will force you to where you need to be. They will force you to who you need to be connected to at all times. And if good times, or times of folly, or times when you're doing things with bad culture, course you away from God, and you believe that the best stuff comes from God and that your best life is next to God, then those are probably the ones that are less likely to be desirable when you really look at the full spectrum of what it is you're doing or dealing with. And so this is why I say I don't know what comes with what. It's like, well, I feel like, with the exception of what the reality of my circumstances is, which is secondary as a person of faith, it's like, okay, that's God's got that completely. If I'm applying faith to that degree, then at some point in time, I got to say, this is the best time of my life. At some point in time, I got to say, this is the most rewarding moment I got. Because this is going to bring me closer to the God, and that's what's absolutely best for me. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching.